Hello everyone, this is Plenty with Sulo with Daily Mirror Online. Clothing partner G Flock. Venue partner the Department of Coffee. Hair and makeup Mosh Aesthetic. And it's at Ramada and Colombo 7. Be tuned to Daily Mirror Online. Hello, this is Plenty with Sulo with Daily Mirror Online. Today, our guest is someone very special. She is Maria Popova, consular of the Embassy of Russian Federation in Sri Lanka and the director of the Russian House in Colombo. Hello, welcome to Plenty with Sulo.
Hello. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me today.
Before we go with the conversation, I just want to know about you, who you are as you are.
I'm a boss of an amazing team and the head of the Russian Cultural Center in Colombo and the counselor of the Russian Embassy in Sri Lanka. I've been living here for 2.5 years and I've been enjoying it greatly.
Okay, when I read your profile, I realized that you coming from a media background,
That's
right?
right.
And you were holding a lot of positions in Moscow. Now you are into diplomat.
That's right.
So how the change happened and
Well, in general, I come from a diplomatic background, and since my early childhood, I have lived and studied abroad, first with my family, then later on with my husband. And so you may say that the international environment is like part of my DNA. I'm also a graduate of the Moscow State Institute of International Relations. I speak
okay.
two foreign languages. So it kind of went without saying that the combination of all these factors was the direct path to cultural diplomacy. But as you rightfully mentioned, before becoming part of the worldwide Russian House team, I worked for a large media holding in Moscow, consisting of 2 TV channels and 3 radio stations. And during those years, I worked in various areas as an editor, a news producer, an interpreter for the TV channel, and even a news presenter for the TV channel Moscow 24. And finally, in my last position, I was the executive producer of the whole radio department. And that was such a great experience in my life. And it's actually helping me a lot. All those skills are helping me a lot in my current work.
I'm sure because someone from media and to diplomat and you have worked in diverse areas,
That's
right?
right.
Now, when you are in Sri Lanka, what's your experience with the diverse areas and in other countries? Because you have studied in other countries, you have lived and
And
you have
worked.
worked, and now in Sri Lanka. What's your experience on
Um,
those?
My first diplomatic experience was in California, San Francisco.
Okay.
And you actually may be surprised, but I find San Francisco and Colombo
Okay.
similar to each other in some aspects. Yes, the landscape, the energy, the way those cities make me feel.
Okay.
San Francisco was the stamping ground where I got my first taste of what diplomacy was about.
Right.
And I'm very grateful for that time. I was young, I was only 26. I went there with my husband. But anyway, I gained so much experience. I met so many interesting people. I learned how to communicate with different crowds. And of course, I shaped up my professional approaches a lot. Then we traveled a lot. And California is a beautiful place with beautiful landscapes, a variety of colors. You know, Hollywood, of course, it all
Yeah.
impacted me in a way. So that was the place where I actually took my camera in my hands and started making short videos and editing them. And later on, I even made a huge documentary movie called Road
Okay.
Tripping. Then when we came to Russia in 2009, I was still under the impression of everything. And when I was on maternity leave with my child, I even wrote a big trilogy novel,
Okay.
dedicated to all the places, all the sites that I had traveled to.
Okay.
So, and speaking about Sri Lanka, it's an overwhelming experience for me as well, but a different kind of experience,
Yes.
a different kind of sensation. First of all, because I have a totally different status here, a cultural diplomat and a boss of an amazing team who inspires me to achieve new heights every day. The drive, the energy. We do so many things together, so many versatile projects. We promote Russian culture, higher education, ballet, chess, the Russian language, of course. It's like a constant, never-ending treadmill every day, and you always have to be in step. So Colombo keeps me energized 24 hours a day. And I can feel that I've been growing here both professionally and mentally, even spiritually, since I arrived here 2.5 years ago.
I think one day you will do a book about Sri Lanka also,
I was
documented.
actually thinking about that.
Oh, great. So since now I'm coming back to Sri Lanka, you have been referred. Always say the paradise, right?
Right.
What about Sri Lanka resonate with you the most?
It's true. I call it the Paradise Island, and not only because of the nature, the royal blue colors of the ocean, and the magnificent flowers, but because of the energy that I feel resonating with my being. And that energy comes from the people that surround me, from the people that I meet, from the people that share their uh, personalities and talents with me every day. Another big thing I really love about this island is going to temples. Uh, yes. I have this, my favorite go to place called the Captain's Gardens.
Okay.
Yes, and I go there whenever I feel like I need a good recharge, and I always get it there. I love it so much, I even take my friends and visitors there. That magical experience,
Yes.
those wonderful rituals with flowers, fruits, and fire. You can never find it anywhere else.
I'm sure because it's an experience, and I think you're really enjoying it very much.
Definitely, definitely.
My next question, because I really wanted to ask this, when I read your profile, I felt that you are the best to ask on it. And you said you are a boss with an amazing team. Under your leadership, the Russian house in Colombo has achieved significant milestones. We have seen it news, we have seen on social media. Could you share a few of those closest to your heart?
Wow, I could talk for hours on end about our projects. During the past 2.5 years, we have launched several Russian language courses in different parts of the island, and we plan to go further. We've hugely developed our ballet and chess schools,
Okay.
yes, making them very popular among the upper crust of Sri Lankans. But I think that there are two most cherished brain children that we have. The first one is the Russian Language Teachers League of Sri Lanka,
Okay.
which we established in 2023, and it has been increasingly growing and becoming a successful academical organization, helpful for the people of Sri Lanka, for the people who teach Russian language at different schools and universities. We're opening new courses with the help of those wonderful people, and we try to take care of them. We do advanced trainings for them. It's a very important part, and I even call them the Golden Fund
Okay.
because I really have good hopes for those people. I would even say high hopes. And the second one is, I think, the documentary that my team and I made last year about the first man in space, Yuri Gagarin's visit to Ceylon in 1961. He spent 5 days here and he traveled around the island. So we kind of took our cameras and we went all around the island. We started filming in different locations. We took a lot of interviews. It was an amazing experience for my entire team. And the movie turned out to be so popular that we even got Russian state awards for it.
Oh, really? Congratulations. So
Thank
proud.
you.
Coming from the award, I'm coming to the fashion. Because you're celebrated not just as a diplomat but as a fashion icon, right? So how drove you local fashion into Russia? Because as I told, I've been to Russia and your ladies are very fashionable. But Sri Lanka, and I see a lot of Sri Lankans goes to study fashion there also. So how you can take Sri Lankan local fashion into that level?
Well, first of all, back in the day, I also tried my hand in fashion design, in knitwear and crocheting. Russia is a very cold country,
Yes.
So, and one day I just took the knitting needles in my hands and started making sweaters, jumpers, whatever, even dresses. And I used a huge variety of colors and patterns. At some point, I even realized that I had created so many pieces enough for a fashion show. I had like 5 or 6 knitwear collections,
Okay.
but I did it for fun, just for the sheer process of it, and I never thought about turning it into any kind of business. I just did it for the pleasure, and I mostly gave away everything I did to my friends. But that constant draw to beauty and fashion, it never really actually left me. And I've always considered myself a fashion wise person, and I try to follow the trends. And like any Russian woman, I
Yeah.
love designer wear. Like today, I'm wearing my favorite Russian designer. It's called Brusnika.
Oh,
I love them. I have several dresses, and I always find something new for myself whenever I go to their boutiques. I highly recommend them, by the way. And it just, kind of makes me happy and fulfilled when you're wearing something catchy and beautiful. I think that it makes you glow from the inside. And here in Sri Lanka, I had a I was twice honored to walk the runway.
oh,
Yes, at public diplomatic events organized by your foreign ministry. So now I have an experience in modeling as well. And I always get invited to big fashion shows here, and that's how I meet Sri Lankan designers. For instance, two of them have already become close friends of mine and of the Russian house team as well. And those wonderful ladies, I can even tell your the names,
yeah.
Natalia Lianage
Okay.
and Pubudi Lavanya. They both work for Lovi Ceylon,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, they have their own separate lines, and they're so hugely talented. And right now, those two wonderful girls are working on an exclusive collection dedicated to Russian culture. One of the
Oh,
lines would be about Russian ballet, and the other one is dedicated to the theme of space exploration. And we're
right.
planning to host a fashion show at the Russian house by the end of June, hopefully.
Hopefully, you'll invite me.
Yes, you are invited. Consider yourself
Because I
invited.
love the Russian fashion. When I was there, I went for a fashion show there just to check it on.
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
And I was thinking about intertwining, the beauty
Yeah.
of the fashion of Sri Lanka with the Russian fashion because there's actually a lot in common. But on the other hand, each of the fashion trends is unique.
Yes,
But
agree.
we can definitely work something out. And I am actually ready to support any kinds of initiatives in that field and all the talented designers. I would love to support that.
Amazing, amazing. I'm going to ask you, as a female leader in diplomacy, what does leadership mean to you, especially in representing your country in culturally rich nation in Sri Lanka?
Wow, leadership. Well, it is an honor for me, first of all, to represent such a huge and amazing country as Russia. An honor and a huge responsibility. My country is rich in so many ways, and I always want to show the best and strongest sides of my country to Sri Lankan people, whose cultural heritage is also huge. And the way I see my mission here is I want to bring the beauty and enlightenment to the people of Sri Lanka and to kind of intertwine our cultures. And as far as I can see, I have succeeded in doing so.
I think you have, because you just not a diplomacy. You brought a lot of things, as we spoke about, the energy, and also making a lot of, because Russian language, because that's something a lot of people, I think Sri Lanka can benefit, and also the fashion. And also I'm so happy about your media industry and all that. I think we have a lot to learn from you.
Thank you.
Finally, I want to ask you, what's your personal vision for the future of Sri Lanka Russia relationship?
My vision is very optimistic. Our two nations have so much in common, and we share the same set of values. We honor our cultural heritage. Plus, I can see a growing interest of Sri Lankan people towards my country. And I think we're on the right track for a successful cooperation in every sphere on a mutually friendly basis.
On mutually friendly basis. Today we had Madam Maria Popova, the Consul of Embassy of Russian Federation in Sri Lanka and the Director of Russian House in Colombo. This is a friendly discussion with Plenty with Sulo with Daily Mirror Online.